Uh, so I was just saying, I just cut off the video. Sorry. Anyway, up here are some other. This is a Auburn Boat Tail Speedster. They had a replica there, but it was the replica that Madonna uh, drove in the film Dick Tracy. Beautiful, amazing car made out of Auburn, Indiana. And this is a Thunderbird, 55 Thunderbird. There were a lot of Thunderbirds there. You could tell that this was an individual's interest or areas of interest. And that was very interesting to see. I even like, and there were also some of these there. The later revamp of the Thunderbird in the early 2000s. Some people didn't like it. Some people do. But it is what it is. So, boy, they had them. They had everything. They'd have a 55 Thunderbird sitting beside an '02 Thunderbird, both in seafoam green, and just very, very interesting to see. And you can see that not only is it an automobile collection, it is a collection of other things, brass fire extinguishers, boat motors, boat models, you name it. It's there, transportation wise particularly. There was even like some interesting things, like a little carnival set on the wall that I want to find out more about. I'm like, where did this thing come from? It's a working, like almost like a little steam powered carnival with a Ferris wheel and some there's a zipper there ride, and some other things that were interesting to me. I love amusement parks too. So hey, maybe I could, if I ever made any money on this, I could afford to go to these places and bring you along with me. It's like, hey, we're going to go to Cedar Point, and I'll tell you all about it. But anyway, this is Dezerland, and this is probably my idea of an amusement park more than even going to an actual amusement park. I love museums. I love old houses. I love old buildings. I would just assume go through abandoned buildings all day long, or house tours, old house tours, whatever. That sort of thing really, really interests me. Which is one reason I think I would very much enjoy going to Europe. Now, the owner of Dezerland has been to Europe quite a lot, and on searches for automobiles. So a lot of these cars are foreign cars that you really haven't heard of. While we were over there, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I know a lot about these weird cars and stuff like that. That the security guard glommed on to my wife and I for 2.5 hours, while I just went on and on about these cars. He didn't know a lot about a Gogglemobile, for example. Well, I do. I when I saw the cycle cars, Velarex, I was like, well, yeah, there you go. And here's a Bond microcar. That's one of the first microcars that they had all this stuff there. Like, this is a Reliant Robin. It's a three-wheeler that actually is more popular than you think in UK. There's a lot of them running around. I just happen to know a lot about it. So yeah, he stuck with me for like 3.5 hours. So I'm going to give a brief overview of the museum. Needless to say, if you are an old car, or particularly a fan of the orphan cars like Packard and Studebaker, and oddball cars like a Gogglemobile or Vespa, which made cars, believe it or not. Israeli cars. There's Duesenbergs. Whatever oddball cars. If you're particularly a fan of those, you must not miss this museum. You must go. I'm telling you, if you like cars at all, you must go to this museum. Particularly, like I say, if you like, there's not a lot of muscle cars there and things like that, but that's not as interesting to me. Once you've seen, I've seen so many Ford Mustangs that I do not care about seeing another one. I've seen them all. I've seen every one. Every Ford Mustang ever produced, I've seen it. Okay, maybe, but when I see a 1940 Graham Hollywood, or a 1940 Hupmobile Skylark, or a 1939 Oldsmobile. These are cars that I have not seen, that I have never seen. You know, when I see a Sabra there or a DAF, two of them next to each other, I don't know what these are. It blows my mind. When I see Rolls Royces from three distinct different eras, that blows my mind. You know what I mean? Those are the things that I came to see, and I got it in just fireworks. In fact, there was one point, I think in the videos before, it's been a week since I've been there at this point now, that I just said, I cannot possibly cover this museum. And I don't need to, because you need to come. You just need to come and go to the museum. It's only $30 to go, and you'll see stuff that you will never see again in your life. Have you ever seen a Gagamobile? They've got 20 of them there. Literally 20 of them. Have you ever seen an Isetta, you know, like Urkel drove? They've got them. And then they've also got the Hinkle and the Trojan that did copies of them. You know what I mean? That copied. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. I cannot even begin to tell you what is there. Okay. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try now. This is going to be a long video. It's like that sectional couches thing. Please have a seat, because this is going to be long. I'll try not to be too long, but also because I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. Maybe I should finish this tomorrow night, but let me at least set it up for you. So the car museum is set up basically like the old mall. He left the structures of a lot of the stores as is, just left them alone, but made each one a lounge for a different type or group of cars. So there's the Chrysler Lounge, there's the Israeli Cars Lounge, there's the Bentley Lounge and the Rolls Royce Lounge, which are all under the Buckingham Palace, you know, moniker. There is a Duesenberg Lounge. Duesenbergs. I have never seen a Duesenberg in my life before seeing a bunch of them. You know what I mean? Now, do be careful, because one of them is a Duesenberg 2, which is a later, very accurate recreation of the Duesenbergs, but the rest were original Duesenbergs, and one of them was an SSJ, and I was like, oh my God. Well, it looks like my battery's running low. Yeah, that's probably a good way of thinking that I need to finish this up tomorrow night. I'm starting to get a little tired. So let's meet back here.